My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all four of them? Well, stand up, guys.
John, we'll jump back in here. Considering the moment,
we were told that the
shooting that just happened left 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, shooters dead, and we were told he would be addressing this off the top.
This is my first video update from Athens, Greece on this Tuesday midday. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with U.S. President Joe Biden. He was about to speak to the American people to provide leadership and comfort at a time when the entire United States was grieving the tragedy that hit a school in Nashville, and the entire United States was looking towards the president of their country to come out and provide the leadership and comfort that people needed, that the families of these victims needed, that the community of Nashville needed. And instead of getting this leadership from their U.S. president, they got comedian Joe Biden coming out and doing this bizarre comic routine where he talks about not being Jill Biden and coming out for Jenny's chocolate ice cream or something like that. What a bizarre, disturbing, very, very ill-timed speech from the U.S. president. That was absolutely shocking to see. Very inappropriate and very disturbing to see the U.S. president come out at a time when a community and a country is in grief. He comes out and talks about Jenny's ice cream. I was speechless. I was speechless. Anyway, let's move on. That's Joe Biden, everybody. Let's move on and talk about TikTok and ammunition production, because TikTok is now being blamed for the inability to produce the ammunition that the Zelensky regime needs in order to fight its conflict with Russia. In the Financial Times, they interviewed the CEO of Norwegian arms manufacturer Nammo, and they interviewed CEO Morten Brandzik, who said that his company is unable to fulfill the ammunition requirements that the Zelensky regime has because of TikTok, because TikTok is sucking up all of the electricity in the region. And the CEO of Nammo said that the demand for artillery was 15 times higher than normal, a trend driven by the war in Ukraine. Ukraine, for instance, would like to increase its daily usage of rounds from 6,000 to 65,000. CEO of NAMO said in this interview. And they cannot fulfill this demand because of TikTok. And this is a real quote from this Financial Times interview. There's a real quote from the CEO of NAMO. We are concerned because we see our future growth is challenged by the storage of cat videos. They can't produce the ammunition that the Zelensky regime needs because of TikTok cat videos. That's a real quote from a real CEO of a weapons manufacturer in Norway. To be more precise, TikTok is more twerking videos than cat videos. But anyway, let's continue. So the CEO of NAMO, he hinted at this being some sort of Chinese conspiracy. That is what the CEO actually hinted at during his interview with the Financial Times. Brandzig said that he had considered whether it was a coincidence that Chinese-owned TikTok was impeding the expansion of an arms company. I will not rule out that it's not by pure coincidence that this activity is close to a defense company, he said. I can't rule it out. So this is the master plan of Xi Jinping. And I imagine that Xi Jinping came up with this plan when he was in Moscow meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. How can we prevent the European Union from ramping up its ammunition production? What can we do? And they put a map on the table in the Kremlin, and the map had all of the ammunition production facilities, and they said, over there in Norway, there's a production facility that is close to one of our TikTok hosting storage facilities. And so what we can do is that we can ramp up the storage, the electricity usage of TikTok, and that would prevent NAMO in Norway from ramping up its ammunition production. That's what we can do. And Putin and Xi Jinping agreed on contacting the TikTok CEO and getting him to suck up all the electricity in Norway, therefore impeding NAMO's ability to fulfill Zelensky's ammunition demands. That Xi Jinping, that Vladimir Putin, how do they think up these things? They're so smart. They're so sinister, but yet at the same time, so smart. Blame it on TikTok, which by extension is blaming it on China. But there's one thing that TikTok was unable to prevent. TikTok was unable to prevent the delivery of Leopard tanks and Challenger tanks to the Zelensky regime. And Der Spiegel is reporting that 18 Leopards have indeed arrived to Ukraine. 18 Leopards donated by Germany. And we also have reports that the Challenger 2 tanks, with the depleted uranium that the Ukraine military was trained to use while in the UK, they have also arrived to Ukraine. And the defense minister of Ukraine, Mr. Reznikov, even put out a slick video, a well-produced video, celebrating the arrival of the depleted uranium Challenger 2 tanks. So TikTok may prevent ammunition from being produced, but it cannot prevent those Leopard tanks and those Challenger tanks with depleted uranium from arriving in Ukraine just in time for the big spring offensive, which is coming. There has to be a spring offensive because there's been so much hype about this spring offensive that it has to come. They have to put together a spring offensive. Now, I don't know if this spring offensive will be in the south and will move east through the Donbass and then south towards Melitopol, cutting off this land bridge and eventually moving towards Crimea. I don't know if that is the plan or if this is just a big fake, a bluff from the collective West, and this spring offensive is coming from somewhere else, but we are going to get a spring offensive. This, I am 90, let's not say 90, I'm 80% certain. Let's leave 20% for some sort of Baghdad Bob type of bluff that is coming out of the Zelensky regime and the collective West. But I would say that 80% certainty that we are going to get a spring offensive. And most likely it is going to come in the south, and it is going to target Kherson, Zaporozhye, Melitopol, and Crimea. That is the grand master plan. And so now they have the Leopards there, they have the depleted uranium Challenger 2 tanks there, and from what I understand, more tanks are on the way, and the spring offensive is coming. Even the New York Times said that the tanks are coming to Ukraine, and the spring offensive is well on its way. Let's now do a couple of clown worlds. Actually, before I get to my clown worlds, I've got two quick stories to get to. And yesterday in my video, I mentioned about how one African nation, one African leader, was talking about de-dollarizing. And that African nation was Kenya. Kenya was talking about de-dollarization. And yesterday, the news came in that Kenya has signed an agreement with Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates to buy oil in Kenyan shillings instead of US dollars. De-dollarization happening all over the world. That is why you have Fox News and CNN sounding the alarm bells with the state of the US dollar as reserve currency. They are starting to slow walk the American people as to what is coming. The end of the US dollar as reserve currency. It's not a coincidence that CNN and Fox News both ran reports about de-dollarization. The other bit of news that I want to talk to before getting into my clown world, and this news actually segues really nicely into my clown world stories, is Bloomberg saying that Russian exports of diesel are hitting record levels according to Bloomberg. Let's get another 11th sanctions package approved, because the more sanctions that are approved, the more money Russia makes and the more prosperous the Russian economy becomes. So let's get an 11th sanctions package. Let's get a 12th sanctions package, because all these sanctions are doing is making Russia richer and richer and richer, and they're making Europe poorer and poorer and poorer. Who would have ever thought that Russia would have found alternative markets to their diesel exports? Who would have thought that? Because in this article, it reports that Russia has found markets in Asia and the Middle East. It talks about Turkey, Who would have ever thought that Russia would have found alternative markets for diesel? I thought only the collective West needed diesel fuel. I thought only the collective West used diesel. Who could have figured out that that the rest of the world also needs Russian diesel? Boy, oh boy. So the Bloomberg article has the title, Russia's diesel exports heading for record despite EU sanctions. March shipments have averaged about 1.5 million barrels a day. Turkey, Morocco, and other nations have stepped up purchases. Impossible for the brainiacs in the European Union to have foreseen this. It's impossible. We can't blame the very smart people in and around Ursula von der Crazy. We can't blame Ursula, Joseph, Jungle Joseph, Michelle, their staff. We can't blame them for this because this was impossible to see. Impossible to see. I was always under the impression that Turkey and Morocco didn't use diesel. That's what I was. That's what I was thinking. But you know, Russia figured it out, and they fooled everybody, and Turkey fooled everybody, and Morocco fooled everybody, and they're buying Russian diesel fuel. So this a lot of wind. 1 second. Let me wait for the wind to die down. Okay, so this segues really nicely into my first clown world. Now, I can't confirm this clown world. I can't confirm that the Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas, very Greek-sounding name. Anyway, but she's not Greek. She is the Prime Minister of Estonia. I can't confirm that she said this because Kaja Kallas says a lot of crazy things, and a lot of crazy things get attributed to Kaja Kallas. But if we are to believe this quote, well then, this is very worthy of a clown world. This is what Kaja Kallas, the Prime Minister of Estonia, allegedly said. This is the same Prime Minister that did say at the Munich Security Council that the Russian population needs to be re-educated. She did say that. So, here's the quote. The approval of each package of sanctions against Russia is a complex process that involves... Excuse me? Yes.
Nice to see you guys.
Oh, nice to see you.
Very good.
Thank you. Oh, no problem. I'm finishing up a video. That's it. In 5 minutes, I'll be done. In 5 minutes. I'm doing my clown world, so I'm doing my last part. Okay. Bye-bye. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Where was I? The quote. The approval of each package of sanctions against Russia is a complex process that involves all EU members. It takes weeks, months to approve new sanctions. Nevertheless, Russians allow themselves to joke on the internet about each new package of sanctions. They openly mock our work. I beg them to take this seriously and show at least some respect. Oh, man. So, a lot of people retweeted this quote. I believe a lot of blue check marks retweeted this quote. And so, once again, I can't say if this is real or not. It definitely is in line with many of the comments that Kaja Kallas has come up with. But I'm not 100% on it. But boy, is it a funny quote. Boy, is it a funny quote. That's right, Russian citizens. Take these sanctions seriously. Stop mocking these sanctions. Stop mocking them. I beg them to take this sanction process seriously and to show at least some respect. Show some respect for the EU sanctioning you as citizens of Russia. Oh, man. Even if this quote was made up, it's pretty creative, I have to admit. And we have a final clown world, and this is Bear Grylls. What was he? He was UK military, I believe, British military. And then he had a reality TV show where he went around surviving in extreme conditions, like drinking the urine of rattlesnakes and eating bugs and stuff like that to survive in the wilderness. And Bear Grylls, he visited Zelensky a while back, but he opened up about his visit to Zelensky, and he said that he presented Zelensky with chocolate. And Zelensky's security, they freaked out at this presentation of chocolate from Bear Grylls because they said that this chocolate could be poison, that Bear Grylls might be poisoning Zelensky. And so Bear Grylls said that he took a bite of the chocolate to prove that it wasn't poison, and then the security also took a bite of the chocolate, and then they eventually, I guess, handed the chocolate over to Zelensky. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what went down, but that was Bear Grylls opening up about his visit to Zelensky. Is that chocolate that you have there, Mr. Bear Grylls? That's chocolate? Yes, Zelensky, this is chocolate, and trust me, it is not poison. I took a bite, and your security, they also took a bite. Oh, no, not poison, but does the chocolate have something else cooked inside of it? Some sugary stuff? Yes, chocolate has sugar. No, not sugar. White sugar stuff. White sugar stuff. You understand what I mean, Mr. Grylls? I'm not following you, President, Your Honor, Zelensky. Forget about it. I don't want your chocolate. Did you bring me money? I need money. There's a house in London that I want to buy. Anyway, that's the clown world. That's the video. TheDurand.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Rockfin, Odyssey, BitChute, and Telegram. And go to Durand Shop. 10% off. Use the code GOODDAY. It started out sunny, but now it looks like it is going to rain here in Athens, Greece. Take care.